Good evening, free enterprise community. Today we are going into Cave Eblin. We are heading to those trolly Upper Babel bosses because we are on the hook route. I am Gundam Pilot Spaz, and I am joined this evening by FF4FE. How you doing, Asuka?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's kind of interesting that we're on the hook route given these objectives, and it's like we're trying to avoid the hook route for some reason. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. All our objectives are squarely on planet Earth, and completely avoid both the underground and the moon. But that could lead to an interesting go mode time. Of course, it does require two key items to get two of those objectives: the package to burn mist, and the magma key to toss into the Agart well. So, if one of those key items is in a trolley place, we could be in for a long one.
I mean, I've seen some interesting spots. I've seen that magma key drop off the moon a few times in the group stages, so you never know where we're gonna find that. But on a side note, looking at Bacon Pie's naming strategy, I I can't with Quint Gober.
Quint does indeed go burr. So, Oscar, do you want to explain to everyone what exactly the hook route means and where we're going from here? Because our win loss records have been reset. This is officially round 2 of the highway to the Threemus zone.
Sure. So these two players, actually all the players, have played 3 matches already, and everyone that's in the hook route either went 0-3 or 1-2. In Y2Sky's case, they went 1-2 in the anima group, and Bacon Pie went 0-3 into the Zodiac group. So they're facing off with each other now in a set of 3 scheduled matches. This is their first head-to-head. After this, the winner goes one way, the loser goes another way. What they're trying to do for the hook route is they're trying to get the mythical 3-0 now. Because if they do that, it's a little bit easier to get into the tables. On the other hand, they can also get in with 2 wins. But if they finish 0-3 again, or 1-2 again, their tournament is done.
That's correct. The group stages, the dust is settled on those. 24 players are already sitting, waiting in that table stage, and 2 players will advance from Hook, and the minimum of 6 will advance from that magma group to join them in the round 3 of the Threemus zone. But we are starting with double Palom.
So we've got a double quack, a sparkle, and a shiny spear that they can just kind of look at right now and not do much with. So interesting party, not necessarily my favorite to start with. I'm kind of not a fan of starting with mages personally, but Palom does get that quack pretty early. They'll have access to warp eventually, and it might pay off. We'll see where they go from here.
The double Palom is, I mean, on these flags, at least I can guarantee a Palom is going to be there. Definitely always prefer to see a white mage if I'm going to be starting with any type of mage, because that
Agreed.
sets some of my anxiety aside.
Agreed. And as it was brought up in chat, with 2 twins, it doesn't matter if it's the same exact twin. We do have twin magic on the table, so they get a little bit of an oomph with an extra spell at the very beginning, which I don't know about you, but it's definitely bailed me out of a few things, a couple seeds I've rolled.
That's right. And of course, Vanilla, Palom, and Porum get their special twin magic in Free Enterprise, because we can have any combination of twins, no matter which 2 twins you have, despite the fact that it's 2 Paloms. We can use that random comet or flare combination.
Yeah, we actually just saw 3 brand new characters brought to the table. In Mysidia, we have a power couple with Rosa and Dark Knight Cecil on Bacon Pie's side. Y2Sky actually went and checked out the Barrett Inn, and it's best boy Edward having a conversation with a purple robe.
I think that Edwards is probably going to be having that conversation for a while.
Well, you never know. If there's an early spoon, Y2Sky might want to go immediately over there and have a Murder Bard, which is always fun to see.
So we found our white mage. I think the runners are going to be breathing a sigh of relief. But that Cecil could either be a benefit or a huge hindrance because of these flags have the vanilla agility flag enabled. And in vanilla agility, Cecil, who is a rather speedy character, is going to be setting the ATB speed for the entire game.
Yeah, normally if you in these settings, if you don't have Cecil in your party, you have a lot more control over where your team's relative agility is based on whoever is in the middle slot. Cecil just takes that and goes, nah, I'm the main one. Now, mind you, if you have two Cecils, whichever Cecil you put in the top priority spot becomes your agility anchor. And those spots are middle, top, top middle, and bottom middle. Although I don't know if you noticed who just came out on Bacon's side. It got a little spicy there.
Yeah, Baconpie picking up a ninja on Mount Ordeals. Meanwhile, Y2Sky peeking that Rydia in Watery Pass, trying to pick up some gear. The only notable thing I've seen him pick up is a siren, which one siren is going to be very coveted if no other sirens are available.
But the nice thing is with Edge in play, we do have the option to potentially steal sirens later on. Now, if we find a Porum, a white mage twin, that might make that stealing a little bit easier later on. And actually, Baconpie on our right screen has given us our first taste at a boss, and on Bridge 1, why not put a giant wall on a bridge? Seems legit and stable and stuff.
As chat's pointing out, it looks like there was also a Dwarf Axe in the Watery Pass. Dwarf Axe enables both Cecil and Kain to be back row glitched. In Final Fantasy IV, of course, you could equip a back row weapon, and it gives you the same attack power if the character was in the front row. And in the back row, you get extra defense. But in Final Fantasy IV, once that back row flag is set, it never gets removed. So the first time you equip a back row weapon, that flag stays for the entire game. So by equipping the Dwarf Axe to Cecil or Kain, they're going to be back row glitched for the entire match. So it's a good pickup. Of course, Cecil can be back row glitched by the bow and arrow. If they do find a Kain, though, that Dwarf Axe is going to pay off. Or a Sid.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, but it looks like this is actually turning out to be an Oops All Quack Kid seed. Sure enough, in Damcian, Y2Sky found a third Hallam. And it looks like we have a second edge in this seed. Looks like the hostage on Mount Hobbs is going to be another spicy ninja.
At this point, I'm going to at least consider three quack kids, 2 ninjas, and see what that gets me. Whether I actually go with it, we'll deem how much sense that I have at the time. But Quake is going to do some damage. Those ninjas are going to be great early game. They're level 25 in free enterprise. I mean, really, we're not level 25 until we're underground, and even then, probably not till after we get through some bosses underground.
Ooh, and it looks like we found our first danger noodle. Looks like the bridge 2 check is everybody's least favorite nope-rope, Ogopogo. Personally, I'm glad to see Ogopogo early, as opposed to certain other places, i.e., I don't know, anywhere on the hook route. But this could give our team on Baconpie's side a little bit of pause to try to take out the noodle.
It is an unfortunate boss to see this early. Baconpie attempting to throw the lightning magic at the Ogopogo. Unfortunately, unlike his cousin Leviathan, Ogopogo is not weak to lightning, but will counter with that weak spell. So, but Baconpie making quick work of the nope rope and getting through.
And as a question or a comment came out in chat and was answered by our fantastic Night Dew. Yes, in these particular flags, the Cocoa Forge is always one of the 4 objectives. The other 3 are randomized. And as a point of note to those that might be new to Free Enterprise, the highway to the Threemus zone, yes, we have 4 objectives, but you only need to complete 3 of them to forge the crystal. And there have been a couple races where people are getting different objectives completed based on which routes they take.
All right, Bacon Pie getting our first look at the reward on top of ordeals. It's only a mass immune.
Only? Deal right there.
Well, again, with our objectives, we are really looking for that magma key. But the mass immune with the ninjas is definitely going to be beneficial. And the other piece of bad news up on the top of ordeals is Water Hag appearing in an otherwise free spot. Free boss in a free spot. You hate to see.
So that does tell us that the next blue robe that we see as a boss spot will not be the Water Hag. It will be the ever fun, well, fun for us at least, the Fabul Alt Gauntlet. Now, would you mind explaining what the Alt Gauntlet is for those that might not be used to hearing that?
The Alt Gauntlet. We love, we do love our Alt Gauntlet in Free Enterprise. The original Gauntlet being the series of monsters that attacked Fabul. The Alt Gauntlet is a series of monsters pulled from its local random monster pool. So if you fight them in Baron Inn, it pulls from a very low level area. If you fight the Alt Gauntlet on the moon, you're going to get some of the hardest monsters in the game.
That's why, at least from a chat standpoint, you might always want to see that Alt Gauntlet appear at the Ogopogo spot, or I believe the Masamune altar, because that is one of the hardest non-boss enemies in the game, and they have to fight 5 sets of them.
So far we have seen a lot of items for our missing party member Kane. We did pick up a rune axe in Antlion Cave. We have a defense sword up on ordeals. We started with the Dragoon spear, and of course Kane is nowhere to be found. Cecil could also wield that rune axe and defense sword, but it is certainly not one of his best weapons.
Agreed. I'm sure what Bacon Pie is hoping to see is either a light sword or the best sword in the game, the crystal sword. Well, unfortunately, he's still got to look for it for a while.
Hashtag every seed a crystal sword.
Well, there's the crystal sword only if Cecil's not in the seed. It makes perfect sense.
We've already confirmed Cecil's in the seed, so we probably will not be seeing
crystal sword.
All right, so Y2Sky getting our first peek at the boss in Antlion, and it is the Elements. This should be a very quick fight, and my guess is that Edge will have to attack once, or actually, looks like Edge is going to use Flame once, and then the fight will be over.
And you are correct, good sir.
Well, it's only needs to do 500 damage to that first the Milan Z in that fight, and then it's over. Because the Elements boss involves a refill after you get through the Rubicon tape.
And they picked up a very spicy item for that. We have our first key item found in the hook. So we do have underground access, but not the way Y2Sky wants, because, well, the other one's an objective and significantly easier.
I think it's very appropriate that our first match on the hook route is going to be a hook route.
Right? Well, thank you. Thank you, Restream and Yubari, for rolling that gem right there.
Now, of course, there still are a few checks left before we dive that hook route, so there is a possibility that we could find a magma key. But most likely, we will have to go through Cave Eblin and through that Upper Babel and fight our very rude boss spots in order to get our underground access.
You know what I'm kind of surprised about right now? It's the fact that neither of our runners have checked one of their possible mandatory objectives in checking the waterfall. It doesn't give a key item unless it's the bonus round with D-Mist, but it is a pretty quick objective they could potentially solve right there.
It is a pretty quick objective. It does have more HP than the Antlion Cave. So depending who's there, it could take a little longer to get through. So having your party and a couple levels before diving there and just clearing it is probably just to minimize any potential time loss. Now, if there is like a Galbez there or other cutscene boss, that could just guarantee a time loss no matter.
That makes sense. It looks like Bacon Pie will be checking the Damsian chest and will definitely noped out that character right away.
Now that's interesting. So Y2Sky is left his Cecil behind and will not be completing Mount Ordeals right now. What do you think of that play, Oscar?
It's tough to say. I mean, they could be thinking they don't want to deal with a Cecil agility anchor. And if that's the case, they don't have Tella to power him up. There's really no point unless there happens to be a key item that they need there. Fortunately for us, we know that it's just some Hanzo steel. So it's a decent play right now, but I have a feeling that if they find a good sword and maybe a second Cecil later on, they might be heading back there at some point.
But the second Cecil they find will only be the first Cecil in their party, so that might not be too valuable. Now, of course, pulling that crystal sword in the second Cecil is going to probably change their mind very quick, or pulling a Tella. But once they find that, well, they already have the hook, so they already have their underground access. So we'll see how this works out for them. Bacon Pie still has not found that hook, and just doing some looting right now.
Yeah, it looks like Y2Sky is defending Fabul from the Queen of Monsters, Ashura. So that should go fairly quickly. And actually, another point about ditching that Cecil, if Excalibur is another fantastic weapon for Cecil, but he has two edges, and edges are pretty good at chucking Excaliburs at enemies. So, the more I think about it, the more that ditch Cecil play kind of makes sense.
I would not be upset with the party that Y2Sky has. The only thing I'm going to question is, hey! So that's two seeds in a row where I was commentating when we found a hook first, and then we found a magma key after I brought up the possibility of it. So I should stop saying that to give ourselves a little more entertaining seeds. However, Y2Sky finding that magma key, and right now he has both accesses to the underworld where Bacon Pie has neither. So Y2Sky definitely got the advantage here. Bacon Pie, I don't see him fading that Fabul check before diving the hook, but it certainly is possible.
That could make things pretty interesting, especially with the magma key, you open up a ton of free quick objectives, particularly Sheila 1 and Sylph Cave. You have the Fey March chest, so that's potentially two key items right there. But for those that are a little upset that we are evading the hook route, you never know. This could be a D-Mist hunt, and that D-Mist hunt could very well be on the hook route. So, chat, keep your hopes alive.
Yeah, I think the only possibility is if Bacon Pie fades that Fabul check is if he wants to minimize his trips to Fabul, because Sheila 1 requires going to Fabul after getting underground access, and of course once you get the Pam, you have to go back to Fabul again. It was a big part of the Fabul Gauntlet seed meta where you try to fade Fabul as well as possible and minimize your checks, but on these early Threemus flags and how quick they've been, getting all those key item checks in as quick as possible has really been the key to winning. So I don't think he's going to be skipping it before heading to that hook
route. We'll see how quickly Bacon decides to fly to Fabul, especially now that they have the hook, because most runners, unless launching the Falcon's a required objective, most runners don't necessarily want to go the hook route. It takes a while. You have two potentially very rude boss spots, particularly the second one, which is Vanilla Rubicante. And anytime that they can find the magma key to avoid the hook route is a happy day for them.
Yeah, I mean the two bosses I would least like to see on the hook route are already off the table. Evil Wall and Ogopogo. They're both at the top of ordeals. But even something that I would be considered free, like Kaipo guards, they are faster and hit harder at the hook route, especially for the levels that you're typically walking down there. So
Agreed.
it's best to avoid.
Agreed. And we saw Y2Sky. I keep on wanting to say Y2K. Yes, I'm dating myself there. I'm sorry, not sorry. But Y2Sky quickly reset if they found the monster chest, which is good for them because they know that, well, they know where the monster chest is and they're good. But speaking of monsters and giving rewards, not only did Bacon Pie take on the waterfall boss, we found a bonus round.
That's right. The waterfall boss turns out to be our D-Mist. D-Mist does gate a possible key item, just like in the vanilla game. Once D-Mist is defeated, Rydia's mother will be waiting in Mysidia with hopefully a good prize. And if that prize is the package, then Bacon Pie just gained an advantage.
And it looks like the Feymarch chest was a good item, but not a key item in the form of the Artemis bow. So they do have a couple characters that can use that Artie bow for the very least to back row glitch. But with the right arrows, actually, I'd keep that Artemis bow for sure.
Bacon Pie picking up the Baron key from Rydia's mother. Definitely opening up a couple more checks and opening up the possibility that he's going to fade that Fabul check a little bit longer if he thinks that there may be additional value in Baron, or if he's gonna try to combine those multiple Fabul checks into one.
Agreed, especially because with that Baron key, you can open up a gated shop for some pretty amazing weapons and armor. Plus, you have potentially 2 key item checks in terms of the throne room and then the Odin basement throne, plus another character. So, yeah, I think that fading Fabul is getting a little bit more likely by the second.
Bacon Pie using the boomerang he just picked up to back row glitch both of his ninjas. So now that he has put that boomerang on those ninjas, which is a back row item, they have that bit set, and so they can hide in the back row. They'll be able to do full damage, and get the defense benefits from hiding behind the stronger characters.
And we just saw our 2 Feymarch bosses, so it looks like we might be playing with our dolls again on the Leviathan spot. And then we have Odin in Ashura. I'm not a fan of seeing those right there, personally.
The Feymarch spot, the King of Monsters spot, tends to be pretty fast. So speed plus Odin is never a great combination because of his one-hit kill attack. So probably not gonna be running to do that Odin many times.
And as mentioned in chat, as soon as our Quack Kids come online, that Kelbrun spot will be pretty easy.
Yeah, it's always feels great when you can take out the dolls in a single hit, and with multiple Palums in the seed, that's going to be very easy.
Also, is this even randomized? Just looking at the Baron Inn second fight here, we have a punch mage.
Yeah, Karate Man is in his vanilla location. Of course, the Yang that you pick up from the Baron Inn is not. So he will turn back into Edward, and we'll see our Baron Inn reward, which is the Rat Tail.
Ooh, that could be interesting, especially since they already have the hook. That could be another key item. Maybe the package is there.
The one joy of watching the group flags in the Threemus zone is the divergent paths that the 4 objectives, but only requiring you to complete 3 enable. So right now we see both players on completely different paths, but with all the checks opening up to Bacon Pie, he could be getting objectives that Y2Sky just won't, because he's in a completely different headspace right now.
Agreed, but on the flip side, uh, those objective checks could lead to rabbit holes that Y2Sky can avoid. So it can go both ways, and I've seen it go both ways.
So Bacon Pie, getting an eye at the skated shop in Baron, sees ninja swords. That's another huge benefit for Edge, is that the two of his better weapons, long swords and ninja swords, are often available in shops on these flags. So if he can pick up a couple of those ninja swords, those edges will start doing some end game damage.
Agreed, and it looks like Y2Sky is. Oh yeah, they're right. There are some drain darts in the shop in Baron. But yeah, Y2Sky looks like they might be either chest hunting or potentially activating Sheila 1 to head back up to Fabul and get another key item check. We'll see which route they take.
We refer to the drain spear as drain dart because it is a relatively cheap way to load Edge with a dartable item. It does pretty significant damage.
And I'm just picturing Edge with this belt filled with drain spears, and the logic of that happening fascinates me right now.
All right, Y2Sky hitting the bit on Yang, and is going to run him back and check our Sheila 1 and see what Yang's wife has to offer today. Bacon Pie doing something I don't often see people doing is looting this barren waterway. Trying to get probably a little more money to see if they can pick up another one of those ninja swords.
And I just saw Y2Sky pick up some Star Veils from what looked like the Mysidia shop, so that's one very great item to find, especially for various reflex strats against bosses and potentially our final boss himself, Z.
So I don't expect Y2Sky to return to the completing second objective. So I think we're definitely going to see that waterfall check there, in which we also may see Y2Sky duck into the Baron Castle as well before returning. It's always some interesting routing when I have some of the overworld checks available with the underground. But on these flags, Dwarf Castle is doubly valuable because of the warp glitch flag enabled.
Agreed. So, with how the old school Super Nintendo cartridge was, there wasn't enough memory to give everything kind of its own little personal check, or its own little personal room. So, the throne or the crystal room in both the Dwarf Castle and in the sealed cave that's sealed with the Luca key are not only, they don't really look identical, it's the same room. So, when you hear warp glitch, what happens is once you complete the Dwarf Castle bosses in check, what you can do is activate your warp spell, and it will take you to the crystal room. However, because of, well, computing funness, it takes you to the crystal room in the sealed cave. So you can actually get 2 key item checks for the price of 1. And it looks like Baron is guarded by a lot of moon bosses. That's a plague right into some D's lunars.
We're getting a lot of these sparkles out of the way. Our runners are probably pretty relieved by that.
Agreed. Especially since Ogopogo's off the table. We still haven't seen a wyvern yet, but that one, especially since Y2Sky has found some Star Veils, and I believe Star Veils come in our starting kit, there are ways to counteract that Mega Nuke.
So Papita asking in the chat, will Warp Glitch be enabled for the entire tournament? The answer is no. Once we're through round 2 and our 32 table players are decided, the Warp Glitch will be decided. So in order to get that sealed cave reward, you have to go through the sealed cave and fight them. So it's interesting play here by Y2Sky. He is going to stay on the overworld, taking advantage of that Baron key check, and I think kind of giving baconpie a little bit of an advantage. I think if he went to the dwarf castle, he continued to do those underground checks, he would have maybe pulled ahead of baconpie pretty significantly. But now he's giving him a little bit of a chance to maybe give baconpie an opportunity to go back to Fabul and grab that magma key and then catch up.
Yeah, I mean, what's really going to make the difference there is finding out what this particular check is on baconpie's side. Again, we have a key item waiting for us potentially in the little pot, or it could just be a blank nothing. So, I mean, if that's a key item, like, oh, I don't know, that package now we're looking for, or potentially one of the two pieces of the legend, or the set, words are hard, legend sword of the adamant, bacon might be a little ahead.
Package does put Y2Sky in go mode. It is not any key item, it is merely a crystal ring.
I mean, of all the rings, that's a good ring to find.
Not a bad
Maybe not
ring.
necessarily what they're looking for, though.
Not a bad ring. More valuable than the diamond rings. I'm not sure what the logic is there.
Final Fantasy logic. Crystals are king.
All right, so Y2Sky making this rat tail check. Finding an earth crystal, which means our Troya treasury is now in play.
Are we going to see everyone's favorite game of Rate That Treasury?
So Y2Sky is going to be looking for decent weapons for his party. baconpie, his edges, he bought those ninja swords in the Baron weapon shop. He found that Masamune on the top of Ordeals. He doesn't even really need to be doing much looting anymore. I think he wants to pick up a couple rods for those palums, maybe a Stardust, but he's very happy with how much damage those edges are doing.
And baconpie wanted nothing to do with that fight. That is a Baigen on the Odin throne. That is not free at all.
Oh boy. So Troya treasury, I think the only thing of significance I saw in there was the tiara. Also picking up a dwarf axe, which we already had. Not a very good treasury. I think say about a 3 out of 10. What do you think, Oscar?
I kind of am inclined to agree with Miyabari with the 2 of 23 for just the amusement. We have a Get Coop saying a negative 42 out of 10. I mean, if there wasn't the tiara, I'd agree. Maybe it's like a negative 40 of 10. But, and actually, as mentioned, or responding to a comment in chat earlier about getting an Artie bow, there actually is a known Artemis bow, and that is the free chest in Feymarch. It does have an Artemis bow there.
So baconpie picking up the hovercraft, is he going to be turning in that rat tail, or is he on the way to fade Fabul and go underground? No, he's going to be turning into that rat tail, which is technically a free check right now that he definitely should do. Meanwhile, Y2Sky is going to give us our first look at the gated Cave Eblin item shop, looking for his grind, likely, looking for sirens, coffins, hourglasses, something of value. I think we have already seen hourglasses underground, though.
Yeah, I think I missed. Oh, it looks like chat is saying the hourglass 2s were in Feymarch, and we have found our siren. So we have some possible eggs to crack or some other item to take on.
That's right. So we're going to be scrambling some eggs. The other grind that Y2Sky has available to him that have not seen people take advantage of in these flags, because the sealed cave has been kind of no man's land, is the door grind. But grinds are pretty limited without moon access and without column. So the most popular grinds being the fastest ones being that D machine and the dragon grind, the King Ryu grind up. But both of those really heavily rely on Teller's weak.
Agreed. And plus, I believe in the group flags, the no encounter, no running from encounters flag is on. So that D machine, the Mac Giants, potentially very dangerous because you do have to look for them. They're not just freely given.
All right, so Bacon Pie is going to be getting the bad news about his Troya treasury. Again, even though Bacon Pie has some pretty good gear, looking for some items for his mages. I checked that I probably definitely would have made, but he gonna get. I mean, there is a piece of ice armor in this treasury. I don't think I've ever seen that low level of gear in a Troya treasury.
It's trying to make a statement today of all the times that it's been faded. It's like, okay, here, now you get nothing. Deal with it.
Y2Sky using one of these hourglasses on the stale men, making them, rendering them completely inert, and he's going to take them out and take a peek at the item that's available in that trap chest. Bacon Pie is still doing some looting.
I can't fault him for this one because I've found some decent items in the other two rooms. Now, today, not so much. Just Troy's. They're gone. They're out of good items.
Night Dew, there was a crystal ring in the Troya treasury, but remember, we also got a crystal ring from turning a rat tail, so it's a duplicate item, not something unique to the treasury. So if it was our only crystal ring, I think it would have bumped the treasury rating up.
It's like Bacon Pie will be testing their might against the Tower of Zot, while Edge is still running down that hook route. Or I should say Y2Sky is running down that hook route with Edge.
Yeah, Y2Sky probably looking for some swords for his Edge. I don't think he hasn't gotten the Baron key yet, so he doesn't know because he still has not done his waterfall fight, so he's not going to be. He hasn't checked Rydia's mother yet. So, not having the opportunity to peek those ninja swords in the Baron weapon shop, he's looking for some swords for those ninjas.
And the longer they stay above ground, the quicker they're running out of checks here. And I mean, they're going to have to go underground like Y2Sky is right now. Otherwise, I mean, we still have to find that package, or are we going to have to find some moon access?
So Bacon Pie just picked up in the trap chest in the Zot the most coveted of swords, the crystal sword, justifying his keeping of Cecil and justifying his looting strategy.
Oh no!
I think Y2Sky got rid of Cecil, didn't he? Did Bacon Pie Cecil?
Y2Sky got rid of it. Probably. Oh, Bacon still has a Cecil. There we go.
Yeah, Bacon still has Cecil. Y2Sky dumped Cecil and then ditched completely out of Zot.
And we have validation of the seed, Y2Sky being the runner of the people, with a type of claim adjuster. Like maybe an insurance claim adjuster?
I believe it was, yes. Star Veils and Illusions available in the Tamara shop. Bacon Pie running up against a French vanilla Vavalis.
Now, is this spot really bad if you don't have a cane? Because I know there are some locations where if you don't have a cane to knock her out of her tornado, you are in for a world of hurt.
Well, considering how stacked his Bacon Pie's party is and how little damage his edges are doing against Vavalis, that pretty much answers your question right there. However, Cecil with that crystal sword still doing over 1,000 damage, and it's gonna get through this spot fairly quickly, which I believe this spot is under 10,000 hit points.
Yeah, with Y2Sky making some more breakfast, that crystal sword is, that's doing some work there.
Yep, so Vavalis is going to have 9,000 hit points here, so a couple swings from that crystal sword should get him through as long as he can keep the rest of his party. So, Bacon Pie definitely having the equipment and the power advantage right now. Y2Sky still further along in his checks, and now doing an egg grind having picked up those sirens. So he's going to get a couple extra levels here before doing the dwarf castle check. My guess is that his goal is to get Palom to warp level, which I believe is 31. And once Palom has warp, he'll duck into dwarf castle, and we'll see. We'll get those 2 key item checks.
And it looks like Y2Sky is keeping their middle Palom on the ground, taking a dirt nap. So definitely looking to maybe use that Palom as an anchor, at least for right now. We'll see if that changes.
Yeah, I think both of our runners' parties are pretty much set in stone. I can't imagine Bacon Pie being unhappy with his setup. The major question now is the extra power available with that Crystal Sword Cecil worth the agility penalty that Cecil's going to grant him? Y2Sky is going to have a lot better agility. That Zeromus fight is going to be a lot slower for him. But apart from Zeromus, a couple other bosses are going to be a lot of trouble for Bacon Pie, including a Wyvern if we should run into him.
It's true, and I don't believe we've seen any cursed rings in this seed yet, so yeah, that agility, Bacon Pie is going to have to be really careful to make sure that Cecil doesn't get a little too spicy fast.
Finally, this far into the seed, we see Arcane.
Arcane said, I heard he had some good items for me. You mind if you hand those over, please? Before I may or may not betray you.
But Bacon Pie rejecting both of these new characters here, happy with the party that he's got, and we'll be facing this side.
And meanwhile, Y2Sky's side, we are fighting some bouncing bowling balls, as mentioned in chat, with CPU. CPU, for the most part, is a pretty free fight if you know how to fight it. However, depending on the location, the HP totals, it can just take a while.
The CPU fight always.
The basic rule of thumb with the CPU is you always want to take out the defender first. That defender is going to keep on using Remedy on the main CPU ball and continuously heal it. At that point, you just avoid the attacker altogether. It's just going to do its mazer, and that does, I believe, 10% of your character's HP. Now, like I said, once the defender is done, you just wail on the CPU. You have to be careful, though, because if you take out both the defender and the attacker, the CPU is not going to be very happy with you. And it's going to start using the Globe 199s, which will take out one character per shot.
This is one of the spots that I think that Bacon Pie is going to have a huge advantage when he finally gets underground. If you see Y2Sky's his entire party, this being a very physical fight because the CPU is going to throw that wall up really quickly. Y2Sky is not doing a lot of damage. His mages are only doing 100 damage, and the edges are only throwing up 300-400 damage each. When Bacon Pie gets there, his edges and his Cecil are both going to be hitting mid thousands or 2,000 damage. It's going to be really quick for Bacon Pie. So once he decides to go underground, no matter what, I think that Bacon Pie is going to have a lot of time just because of his items.
And he just got really lucky not going underground yet, because the key item from that last encounter was the pan. So now here's the question though, because I don't believe Bacon Pie's gone to Fabula yet. They have the hook, they can get underground, and they have the pan. Do they all in one Fabula, or do they just check to see what's in the Fabula defense and then go underground to activate Sheila 1 and 2?
This is a tough one. If I have a pan and I haven't done Fabula yet, I likely will not do Fabula until I at least peak the bosses at upper limit, because I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna save time by combining those 3 key item checks into a single visit. So Bacon Pie is probably thinking along those same lines, and this got a lot more dangerous.
that could be absolutely devastating, especially when they see that magma key coming right out of the bowl. And meanwhile, Y2Sky's side, they are fighting some guards, which looks like they're doing pretty well against them. So potentially that one more quack, and that second guard might be going down.
Quack kid gonna quack. This is this bacon here at the Odin's certainly, but it won't be the quickest check. Meanwhile, Y2Sky getting through that second boss in the castle has 2 key item checks available to him.
So yeah, we'll get to see pretty quickly, as long as they remember the warp glitch, which most runners have. We'll get to see those 2 potential key items, and it looks like we get to see a key item on Bacon Pie's side with Baigen going down.
The first reward from Dwarf Castle is that pass that Luca was wearing around her neck.
And we have some music on Bacon Pie's side, which is always a fun one to look at.
Y2Sky picking up a crystal sword from the sealed cave check. Again, Y2Sky did ditch that Cecil metal, so he is not going to be able to take advantage of that. And he's probably cursing himself right now.
It's like the item dupe glitch is off, so instead, here's 2 crystal swords for you. You are good on money.
So, some interesting routing available. Y2 seems to be saving that waterfall check absolutely last, right? Like, that's his go mode, final check. If he hasn't checked it now, I don't see him checking it. He's probably not going to do Zot. I think he's going to do Keyless Tower before Zot. So if Earth Crystal if the Twin Harp, which was acquired by getting that Baron Key, leads to package, Bacon Pie could be back in this race.
It's interesting. We have a seed validation Y2Sky side, and we also have a People's Champion on the right with chat's favorite time of day. It's music time.
All right, and the Y2Sky Fading Zot did not get the pan, so if that pan check could also have one of our required key items. So again, we're seeing, because of Bacon Pie's decision to fade for urgence, but Bacon Pie is still making progress, right? He's still opening up dungeons and he's still getting those key item checks. He's just not doing similar checks that Y2Sky is, and kind of not doing the, I don't know, if Dwarf Castle is probably one of the more optimal checks, especially 45 minutes in, just because you get those 2 key checks for relatively simple pieces.
Agreed. And if, say, this particular check from on Cave Magnus ends up to be something like the tower key, that hook is getting more and more likely, and that Fabula is going to get faded a lot faster. Oh, speaking of crystal, we heard you like crystal, so have another crystal, except this time the gauntlet version.
Bacon Pie still doing a lot of looting, despite the fact that I really don't to. It is one of those like, it's one of those lines that you run playing free enterprise, especially in a race. Which, how much looting do I do, and when do I stop? Because both aspects are risky. Because if you loot too much, you have the pesky inventory management boss to go through. If you don't loot enough, then your opponent may be getting an advantage in how much equipment they're getting, quality of that equipment is.
Agreed. And for these particular flags, you have sparse 60, so only 60% of the chests are open or are available to be opened. However, it is T-wildish, so there could be some pretty spicy loot, as we've seen with some of the pickups thus far. So it's, like you said, it's a really hard sell. But I don't know about you, but I'm going to quiet down a little bit because we are about to get our taste of some fantastic randomized music.
So free enterprise, of course, being randomized. We like to randomize all aspects of one of those aspects is the beautiful loop form. It would be boring to hear that for the last time every time. So we
On the bright side, that is a fantastic song from Final Fantasy V. On the downside, there is one particular boss that doesn't like music, and that would be Golbez.
Mr. Ha 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 himself replacing the Dark Elf here. And going to kill 3 of our party members right away in this very painful cutscene. Luckily, thanks to those crystal rings, Bacon Pie's mages are climbing. And Rosa, who was able to get that Star Veil, which would counter Golbez's magic.
Word-faced AI, please.
That's real quick. However, the 2 ninjas are alive. They should be fast enough to throw up Star Veils, and they're going to be doing the most damage from Golbez anyway, with the exception of Cecil, which I'm sure Bacon Pie can very quickly. Ooh, choosing to dart that defense sword for 3,000 damage. That's a good move. Really focusing on brute force to get through this Golbez. See if it works out, and it does.
Well done, Bacon Pie.
I like it. I like it. It's a spicy choice. It's not a safe strategy, but it worked. It worked.
Way to assert dominance over this seed with that play right there. That was impressive.
And dominance asserted, we get half of our Excalibur by taking home the Legend Sword.
So yeah, that is a potentially required music spot and a potentially required rabbit hole chain. So that is interesting. From all the way from, I believe, the Baron Key to here.
Right now, we have checked nearly the entire overworld. We have checked almost all of the underground, with the exception of the Feymarch spots and the Tower of Babel. We do not have a Darkness Crystal.
No, we don't. I mean, we've still got our key items in the form of the Adamant Rock, the package, and like you said, the Darkness Crystal. I mean, in terms of spots that are available, Bacon still has to go to Fabul, which, unfortunately for him, if he went to Fabul, he would find the Magma Key. But there are still those Feymarch bosses that it looks like you should not be fading Feymarch this time around.
So Bacon Pie diving hook now is probably not going to be a detriment, right? Both of his edges are online. Cecil has the Crystal Sword. He's got levels now. Cecil is level 25, which is about the level you are in the game. Anyway, he's in a great position right now to get through nearly any boss that we're going to throw.
You bring up a very good point, because I don't know about you, but whenever I get stuck with a hook route, my levels are significantly less than Bacon Pie's at this point in time. So That makes total sense what you're saying.
Yeah, and whenever I get stuck with a hook route, I typically do the same strategy that Bacon Pie is doing here, which is trying to get through as many bosses on the overworld to get a couple extra levels, doing looting, doing shopping, getting yourself prepared. I think the only probably thing I would have done, taken the trap chests in Eblin Castle, but Bacon Pie already took the trap chests and Zot got that crystal sword. I mean, he's already spent a good amount of time preparing for this. He's ready to go. He's over ready to go.
Yeah, at this point, it's actually question that just popped up in chat. No, we have not seen Wyvern yet. That's one of the few lunar bosses. I think Wyvern and Paladin. I believe Bahamut, if you want to include Bahamut. Otherwise, we've seen pretty much everybody else from the moon.
Did we see Plague yet? Oh.
Yes, we did. Don't ask me where we saw it, but I did see Plague.
So, Y2Sky picking up that pan, Bacon Pie's advantage in doing those checks, Y2Sky slowly eroding here. We're going to see that pan check very quickly. Before that pan check, he is going to check Waterfall, see the good news that Demist is there, which will give him the Baron key and put him really in a great position here. Two objectives and a ton of key items, and he's he has the advantage.
Agreed. Though even with the advantage, he's still gonna have to go down back underground and look at those Fey March bosses, because those are pretty much required. At least one of them is pretty much required at this point, unless the pan check does pay off with either most likely a darkness crystal at this point, or the adamant rock actually. So who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what Y2Sky wants to do here. I mean, if I think Keyless Tower is still available. I mean, he might have that in his head that he wants to find the tower key on the overworld, especially now that he's going to have the Baron check opened up to him. So, but that pan, if it was me, it would be burning a whole pocket to get that out of my inventory as quick as possible, because that's 2 key item checks available to him. He could do.
I don't quite remember what Sheila 1 was.
So Sheila 1 was
maybe?
It was the Luca key, that's correct.
It's not a useful item in this particular flag set, but it is a key item, and it gets you 1 more key item closer to 10 key item checks, which will give you a nice bonus XP boost.
Bacon Pie is going to get a peek at the boss waiting for him at Upper Babel. It is Bahamut, and that is it's a pretty free fight if you're carrying Starvales.
Which I know we've seen in the shops at least once. I'm pretty sure Bacon Pie has passed them. We have Starvales again from the starter kit, so yeah, he's not too worried about seeing Bahamut right now.
No, but I know he did blow one of those Starvales in the Gallbed. So we'll see how many he has. Oh, did he burn 2? Yeah, Harumph brings up a good point. Even though we saw Rosa throw one of the Starvales, Palom was queued up to throw the Starvale as well. So that does take it, even though he didn't get a chance to actually put it up, it still removes it from your inventory, technically. So if Bacon Pie hadn't bought Starvales, it does not have.
Y2Sky is going to be getting the news of that he's filling out his key ring. Or by key ring, I mean the elixir.
All right, very. So the elixir for as a reward for the pan is a pretty disappointing check here. but that again, it's going back and forth. It I feel like those Fey March bosses are more and more going to be where our required items are or our moon access.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny, and I'd think it'd be funny if it was a darkness crystal in one and a package in the other, just to keep things kind of hilarious. But that's just me being me.
Well, where Y2Sky definitely wasn't going to take either. He went to Fey March very early. I think when Bacon Pie sees Calbrina there, I think he's going to make that attempt.
Especially with the Quack Kids Online that was mentioned much earlier in the race, that should be a fairly good fight.
Y2Sky, just like Bacon Pie before him, is buying as many ninja swords as he can afford. Baron shop, getting his edges closer and closer to being at endgame damage. Meanwhile, Bacon Pie slowly making it through the Mad Ogres and getting a little last minute experience and a nice reward, hopefully. Another Artemis bow. How many Artemis bows is that so far?
At least 2. I mean, with pinning down your agility at the beginning of a fight, it's nice to give, say, I don't know, somebody that's normally kind of slow, start them off with an arty bow, and then switch them to whichever weapon they're going to use for the actual fight, because that will give them a little boost of agility and make them a little bit faster throughout the ATB. So it's nice to have. It's nice to have at least one, but we don't need a whole army of Artemis bows.
Yeah, something I never realized in vanilla game is the Artemis bow does have a pretty significant detriment to your magic stat. So if you throw it on your Rosa, and oh no,
Oh boy.
okay.
Oh no.
So we have entered worst case scenario for Bacon Pie. We have a Wyvern. His agility is anchored by Cecil, and he is noping out completely of Cavel.
Now, I believe there are certain bosses that can't is it that they can't block your item pickups?
Yeah. So in the logic of the random, there are 3 bosses cannot gate underground access. So those 3 being Golbez, Wyvern, and just because they tend to be a little bit trickier to defeat than the other randomized, no matter where they are. So if you see a Wyvern blocking near the underground, the game is basically telling you there's another way to get underground that's easier. So the game basically just told him there's a magma crystal or a magma key somewhere on Earth.
To point out in chat, that's probably the best thing to have happened to Bacon Pie just now.
Yeah, unfortunately, let's see what Bacon Pie does, because he did just go Starville. If he's not aware about that randomization rule, he could get into a rat hole here, which look like he's heading back to Eblin Cave. So, it may not be the worst. The Cecil being there is going to make one really fast, but it's still not. I don't know if it's impossible for him to get a Star Veil up. He could turn his battle speed down really low, but I was watching pretty closely, but I don't believe that one of the characters even got a chance to do an action before that Mega Nuke, which means that no matter how low he sets his battle speed, the ATV system is not going to be his friend.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Bacon. I don't know if they forgot they faded Fabul or are just set on fading Fabul because they have that pan, or they just forgot hey, if Wyvern is here, you need to go somewhere else.
I think a common thing that I don't really even hear commentators or players talk about with free enterprise is that free enterprise is it is a skill it's a skill based game, of course, but it is also very heavily game, right? If you just don't know what an hourglass does, it could never benefit. And this is one of those examples. If you don't know that these bosses can gate underground access, then you can't take advantage of this knowledge that the game is giving. And it's one of those things that it's both you have to read about it and learn from other players and experience.
And you bring up a very good point. I mean, I myself, I'm not a racer of this game. I'm still very new trying to complete it within a short amount of time. So that was something that, like you just said, I had to learn from watching people, and it's not something that you would normally think about. So if I saw that wyvern there maybe a month or two ago, I'd go, oh well, this is heckin' like bad, but okay, let's do this. And not realize, hey, you should really check somewhere else. Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
I mean, you say a month ago. I mean, I know I'm telling you all this, and I know these facts to be true. However, if I was in Bacon Pie's position, racing, being restreamed, knowing that a lot of people are me, would I be able to recall that information in this situation? Sometimes the answer is just no. There is a difference of conceptually like knowing how a game works and then being able to execute. And that's one of my greatest weaknesses. Free enterprise. It's like I can tell you all about these stuff in the middle of it. When you're actually executing it, sometimes it just.
That's very true. And we've seen a couple matches in this tournament so far where people have they've forgotten their freebies, they've forgotten to do their objectives, and it's just race nerves, restream nerves. I mean, it's a very, very good point. And I don't know, for some people, being restreamed is a little intimidating because not everybody will stream on a regular basis. This might be one of those rare occasions where people actually are putting themselves out there in a restream format. So, yeah.
So PK, Magma Key is in Fabul. Bacon Pie has a pan, but is currently assuming that this is a hook route. So he's looks like to be fading it, trying to turn it into a 3 checks into a single check. So that's where we are right now. That's why he's pushing. He's still pushing on the attempt to go through Upper Babel. Meanwhile, Y2Sky taking out that Odin spot and going to see the good news that there is music tonight.
And definitely, the longer that Bacon Pie goes after this wyvern, the farther and farther Y2Sky is going to inch ahead. And I mean, like I said before, there's not many checks left, and
so
that could be devastating.
Where if Bacon Pie does not have a or is it? All right. So at battle speed 6, so Edge is still alive. Bacon Pie might be able to sneak through this. If he does be able to he only has to do 4,000 damage to Wyvern to get past it.
Use the stuff. Do something.
Only has to do 4,000 damage. Wyvern is going to be really slow right now. He hasn't even thrown up his wall yet. And there it goes. Hopefully, Crystal Sword Cess should be able to do at least 2,000. Wyvern is only going to nuke one character at a time going forward. Is not going to throw out that mega nuke again. This is certainly winnable, if not the fastest fight.
Oh my god. I don't know if that was me. I'd go, okay, it's time to reset. Wait, what?
Yeah. So once Bacon Pie is through Wyvern, he has to get through Wyvern's slower cousin. That is the worst character to go down right there. Oh no.
Bird face, please.
And of course, using Edge's turn to is negating the amount of damage that he's doing per second here. All right, hopefully Palom gets that quake off, and we're in. No, don't use the edges to revive. Just throw.
Right? Just damage. No.
It's okay. He's got to get control of it. He's relying on Cecil with that crystal, which is not a bad thing to in this situation.
And as mentioned by Bad Karma in chat, there's no XP at this spot.
All right, gonna dart the second defense sword. One more hit from the crystal sword takes down Wyvern. That defense sword takes down Wyvern. The battle is... Oh, it's not over?
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay, now it's over.
I guess my math is wrong.
Gosh.
That spot only had 4,000. 6,000. Okay. Whew. Meanwhile, we have a rendition of this wonderful song from Final Fantasy V. Let us listen in while Bacon Pie handles this Bahamut and we catch her breath.
Right? And now as Gomez takes over the music from DJ Spoony Bard, looking at Bacon Pie's side, if one dragon wasn't enough, how about two? And I don't believe Bacon Pie saved in between these two dragons.
No, but he has plenty of time to throw up those Star Veils. Bahamut is really a pushover, and I don't think he turned his battle speed back up either, so he's moving very slow. He's already through him. That's 24,000 damage done before the first Mega Nuke. But I hope eventually he remembers to turn his battle speed back up, because that'll be a detriment to bosses that do not require a little more time between turns.
Now
So Asuka, yeah, if you were Bacon Pie, an hour 10 through the hook row, where are you going right when you launch that fell?
Well, I know I have that pan, and let's get potentially 3 key items. Unfortunately for Bacon, he's gonna see what would have been a much easier way underground once he goes to Kabul. But once those are done, well, actually no, I might go to Feymarch first, get that freebie check, find out what rudeness awaits there, and then I'd go the pan route. But yeah, that pan is getting out of my inventory pretty quickly soon.
Yeah, Bacon Pie his opponent at least checked, if not Sheila 2. So if I was him right now, I think I would take advantage. I mean, that's 4 checks that you can do really fast, even before taking the free chest.
And as mentioned, it looked like the top of tower is going to be the alt gauntlet. What do you think about that spicy find?
Oh, so all gauntlet at the top of tower. There are some there are some trolley bosses up there. A lot of a lot with a low HP. I mean, some of the searchers that show up only have like 1600 HP. So Bacon Pie certainly can chew through them. Y2Sky might have a little trouble at this point, but the Gauntlet Anywhere is just going to be a slow slog. So yeah, there's definitely bosses at the top of tower that I would just have to see.
Agreed. And sure enough, it looks like Bacon Pie wants that pan out of his system after he thwacks that punchy mage in the form of Yang.
Meanwhile, Y2Sky climbing to the top of Ordeals, finishing up this check, which he noped out of way at the beginning of this seed, and he'll get a legendary ninja sword for the effort. Meanwhile, Bacon Pie is diving Fey March, and we're gonna see if he's gonna attempt any of these Fey March bosses.
At these levels, Calbrenna might not pose a threat. Odin, I'd probably still have a hard, long think about that one first.
Yeah, I mean, Bacon Pie still doing some looting here. I would be moving very fast through this just to get these checks done. But if I was Bacon Pie and I saw Sabrina, with Quack Kid, definitely would make the attempt at least once. If I have to nope out of it and then do my key item checks, that's good. But Calbrina should be pretty quick with his party and Quake.
I didn't see. Did Bacon Pie remember to up the battle speed, or no?
I didn't see him do it.
It's definitely one of those things that you will notice in a battle very quickly. Pun not intended. Still, I don't see the logic behind Bacon Pie continuing to loot. I mean, especially hour 14 in, one objective complete, still looking for key items. You've got plenty of gear. Why continue to look?
He, still probably has not found anything that he's overly happy with for his mages. I think at some point you just have to give up. I mean, it is upsetting to go into Threemus with a small bow and a rod as it were, but sometimes that's just how it ends up.
And plus, with some pretty tricked out ninjas, I mean, is it ideal? No. But are you going to be relying heavily on those ninjas to do a lot of damage to Z? Yes.
Yeah, he's going to be doing. I mean, with this party, he's going to be doing Zerker strat against Threemus. So now we're waiting for the decision. Bacon Pie healing his party up, probably considering taking out those dolls.
That would definitely be the play I would make too. Just like I said, especially with Quack Kid online, good to go. It should be relatively quickly finished.
Approaching the hour 15 minute of this seed. No matter which side I was on, Bacon Pie or Y2Sky, I'm feeling behind. I don't have a darkness crystal, and I'm assuming my opponent does. It's I don't think either of our runners are very comfortable, and I think Bacon Pie is going to be extremely uncomfortable as he gets to Fabul and sees that the magma key was there all along.
Agreed. I wouldn't be surprised if Bacon Pie, once he sees that magma key, he's going to be doing some potentially pretty spicy plays. And a quick side note, I see that Free Enterprise has rated us, so thank you for stopping by, and thank you for everyone else to stop by and watch this match between Y2Sky and Bacon Pie. Please note, do not spoil it for everyone that's here, so we might not know what happened.
Yes, welcome Free Enterprise. I hope that the first match of the Magma route was. Right now we have Y2Sky, who found an early magma key in Fabul and got access to the underground very early. We have Bacon Pie, who has faded Fabul in favor of doing a hook route, and because of that hook route, has gotten a ton of equipment for his party and a ton of levels. So he's in a really good position equipment wise, but is way behind in terms of checks.
Ooh, that could be an interesting play with that tower key. So rip keyless tower the dream.
Tower key definitely an advantage for Bacon Pop, but before he does tower, he's still going to want to get through the dwarf castle, which does not have any required key items, unfortunately.
Agree. Looks like Y2Sky tried to make some omelets and ended up with a dragon instead. Omelets with dragon meat, I guess.
Y2Sky probably doing the sirens here in preparing to go back to Feymarch. I think Keyless Tower is a really scary check. But again, we are really far into this seed now. No moon access. The tower key can be on the moon. And that darkness crystal can be at the top of tower. I'm heading up there before I'm grinding to take on those Feymarch boss.
Agreed. As was pointed out not too long ago, what awaits us at the top of the tower is the alt gauntlet, because we have already seen Water Hag, and it is, well, not at the top of tower.
So Bacon Pie is weighing going to castle. I don't know if he's just going to do an item shop check, or is he going to commit to doing the entire boss fight? Really showing a lot of restraint, not running right to Fabul Pan and get his rewards.
I mean, if anything, their thought is, okay, we've set up Sheila 1, Sheila 2. I'm down here. Let's get done as much as we can. I saw they played with their dolls again. They put them to bed. They noped out of Odin. Why not check Dwarf Castle? That's another 2 potential item checks. I mean, I can't fault the logic, but it's one of those commentators' issues where we know what is awaiting them, so it's hard to see.
Yeah, it is hard to see, but it's also a one of our tournament rules. Check your freebies. And right now, Baron, at these levels, the boss at Fabul Defend is free, and he has 2 checks up there that are completely free. He just has to talk to Yang's wife, and then I would be running off to do them as quick as.
Agreed, and especially once he sees that magma key, he is going to feel very, very under the gun.
So as we alluded to when Y2Sky was doing this fight, I think we get through it fast. Let's see how much this crystal sword does. That'll give us an idea of how quickly this will go. That's almost 2,000 damage. Bacon Pie's ninjas when he did this check were doing about 400. So through this fight a lot quicker. That crystal sword is Bacon Pie's biggest hope to make up a.
Agreed. That's pretty much the party difference between Y2Sky and Bacon Pie. Y2Sky favored to get rid of at Cecil in favor of, I believe, a second Palom to use as an agility anchor. Unfortunately, this seed has been oops all crystal swords, so Bacon Pie gets rewarded, Y2Sky gets a lot of money.
All right.
Oh, go on.
No, please.
The chat, Zoe is asking chat, what's been the TLDR? When you see Wyvern on the hook route, find another route.
Yeah, that's been the theme of this one, where Y2Sky got that early magma key from the Fabul Defend, and Bacon Pie faded Fabul, still doesn't know there's a magma key there, and dove the hook route and got through a very, very rude Wyvern. that should have tipped him off that magma key was.
And it looks like we'll be seeing Y2Sky go against Odin in the Assurer spot. So this is a key item that we don't know yet. And we'll see how he does.
Yeah, very exciting. Palom is going to be throwing a bunch of lit threes. Gonna get through this really fast, but Odin already raising that because this spot is very quick.
Oh, that's scary. Oh
no! Yeah, gonna have to turn down his battle speed and really in desperate need of a cursed ring.
And for those of us that have just joined in, we have not seen a cursed ring yet anywhere. You know, maybe that's why baconpie keeps looking at chests.
It's possible. I mean, he has checked most of the armor shop so far. All right. Y2Sky switching over to the Calbrine is thinking that Odin is a little too spicy.
I wonder once Y2Sky finishes playing with his dolls, will he just go straight to tower? And it looks, hold on, fingers crossed, chat, baconpie might be going to Fabool an hour and a half in.
I maintain, fading Fabool as part of the Fabool Gauntlet meta was a very real thing. In these group flags in the highway to the Threemus zone, seeds have been moving so quickly that Fabool check early on has just been.
And finally, we have our Fabool check.
So baconpie is gonna get a lot of information here. He's gonna get an idea of where his opponent is, and is gonna show that Sheila has nothing but garbage. Meanwhile, Y2Sky beginning the climb.
It's going to be 2 key items, and we know there's most likely there very likely is something of value, whether it's the Darkness Crystal, a rock, package, we don't know, but the odds are kind of in Y2Sky's favor right now.
I'm feeling really good about this seed the more it goes, because the more checks we do, the more likely that the Darkness Crystal is behind that, and the moon is going to have objectives.
Agreed. And quick shout out to our behind the scenes team with Nightdew and Niabari rolling this beautiful trash pile awesomeness of a seed. Nightdew pushing all the buttons, definitely getting some work in today. I mean, Gundam and I, we're just sitting here watching the show and talking about it. Those two are doing a lot of the heavy work behind the scenes, so much love and shout outs to them.
Alright, Y2Sky is entering this old gauntlet. baconpie turning in these checks. Asuka, if you were baconpie right now, hour 25, picking up that magma key, what is on your mind?
Oh heck. In summary, oh heck. I'm trying not to go into full-blooded panic mode right now. I'm going over what checks do I still have on the table and what can be done relatively quickly. I would honestly be eyeing that tower check, knowing what's waiting for me in Feymarch. Plus, 2 checks are better than the price of 1. Yep. But still, it's a lot of oh heck.
Yeah, and what's really surprising here is, despite the fact that early routing was so different, as Nightdew, our tracker, points out, both runners just hit 10 key items. baconpie is only 1 check behind, taking out those Calbrinas as soon as he got to the underground, where Y2Sky faded them along. Despite the fact that Y2Sky got to the underground way before Bacon Pie. His lower levels and worse equipment made him take a lot longer on those bosses. So this is closer than it seems based on the routes that we've been experiencing.
Yeah, I like you. I'm pretty surprised, especially that Hook versus Magma route. That was I fully expected Bacon Pie to be so far behind.
Y2Sky is officially
Ooh.
in go mode. However, Bacon Pie is going to be right behind him. I don't see Bacon Pie attempting that Odin check again, the Queen of Monsters. I assume he's going to go right and turn in the power key. So we're really close here. We will see what Bacon Pie decides to do for his growth.
Especially with Darkness Crystal still not on the table, it does greatly limit what you can do, but you can get some good XP in various areas underground on the moon, particularly.
Oscar,
those-
we don't need to go to them. We both of
This
our
is
runners have
true.
passed.
Pass. The moon chat is officially haunted. My apologies, but not really.
So did Y2Sky didn't even bother doing the? Is that what I saw, or did I miss the?
I don't think they went. They got the rock and they pieced out of there. I can't fault that logic.
Did he do the cannon room check? Night 2? He
Oh,
faded
yep.
the cannon, which is the right call.
I mean, plus you have the rock, you can forge the sword, and given that versus a very long cutscene, that's a spicy shop there.
We got a 3 out of 10 Troya Treasury, but we got a 10 out of 10 Kokol shop.
Just like that, 1 hour 28 minutes in, almost 129, we have our first actual crystal.
Definitely still within average too. I think a lot of these seeds are probably averaging about an hour. So yeah, definitely still within the general average of group seed.
And it looks like Bacon Pie is checking the cannon room first. So hopefully they go to the top and see what awaits them there. And because we haven't had enough Nope Noodles, have another one with Leviathan.
Seen so many upsetting bosses and so many.
Ooh, and it looks like Y2Sky remembered they left their Vidia in the watery pass, so they have an anchor now. So they are gearing up very quickly to take on
that
seed.
That has started to be one of my plays in my last couple of seeds as well. Leaving that low level character in the watery pass as a backup anchor. And
I'll play the newbie card here. Does it matter which character you leave there in the watery pass, or is it just the low level equals low agility equals?
Well, yeah, if it's an edge there, it's not going to have a great agility. But if it's any mage, a Cecil, even a Kane, they're gonna be a fine anchor when everyone is in the Oscar.
You were first.
We're both setting up the bit. Oscar, there's a bunch of weird flags in chat right now.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of sleep tonight. I took a nap before here, so I'm good on that. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm good. I don't know what they could be asking, and
yeah, I think it's a lot of them are in nap time. That's what they're asking.
And it looks like we might have gotten a slight troll or technical difficulties on Y2Sky's side, but
that's okay. When we return to him, he's probably gonna be in his fight. But we're throwing up a question, that we ask at this point in every Final Fantasy Free Enterprise seed. Now, Zeromus doesn't get into the randomization pool because he's a little too strong. So, what magic do we do, Oscar?
Well, so what we've done, because it is a randomizer and Z has to stay right where Z is, the combination of Boardface and Kitty have made over 450 plus different sprites that Zero Miss can show up as. And as a point of note, the winner of Highway to the Threemus Zone actually gets to choose a brand new sprite to enter this pool. But we don't know which one it is. So that famous little Z flag right there is asking whose butt are we hopefully going to be kicking on one side of the screen?
So as our background team is, oh, there we go. Y2Sky is back with us just in time for the big reveal.
I believe that is from Danganronpa. I probably said that terribly. My apologies.
It's Momokuma from Danganronpa. Will be our source of all that is evil and dark and destructive today.
You know, with that expression on Momoku's face, you know they were messing with the stream. That's entirely on them.
Meanwhile, baconpie getting through this gauntlet, gobbling up some tofus. Going to get the good news that he's in go. And we might see both of our runners in the Z fight at the same time if Y2Sky fight takes a while. I think that baconpie definitely is at a disadvantage agility wise. Y2Sky picking up that Rydia is going to give him a big advantage. His fight's going to be very slow, and his ninjas are going to get a lot of extra hits in.
Agreed. It'll be interesting to see what the Z times tend to be. As Kitty points out, Momokuma will totally disconnect the stream just to throw everybody off.
All right, baconpie in go mode, going to run to the cult. We'll get our final key item check of the seed and see what Leviathan was hoarding in the cannon room.
I would kind of laugh if it was the package and then Odin had the darkness crystal, but that's just me.
It would be beautiful if it was the package. It would be beautiful if it was the sand ruby and be a completely useless item.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Yeah, on Y2Sky's side, it looks like it's a pretty smooth sailing fight so far. Getting a good amount of damage with that double edge and that double berserk from the looks of it, Ed.
Yeah, we're doing some hybrid strats. Rosa was throwing out that white spell, which is gonna do 7,000 to 8,000 damage. Fire 3 from Palom.
It looks like he's getting 2 crystals for the price of 1 with that darkness crystal.
Bacon making sure he's at 10 key items. He's going to start his final grind. While Zeromus is getting ready to throw a big bang at Y2Sky. Did we know what was the reward for the cannon room?
The cannon room was in fact the darkness crystal.
Oh, it was. Okay, there we go. So Odin not required. Fortunate.
Hate to see it.
Maybe next time.
Spicy. I'm a fan of very spicy moves. Ooh, and we have rocks falling on Y2Sky's side, so it looks like that fight will be winding down pretty soon.
Y2Sky really, really a textbook Zeromus fight here. If you wanted to know how to do hybrid strat, just watch this fight. Got a perfect anchor, throwing spells, Zerk to ninjas doing thousands of damage. Zeromus never had a chance.
And there it is. There's the crack, there's the flash, and Y2Sky has officially won this matchup with an official time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 33 seconds. Get your GGs up in chat.
GG's to Y2Sky being our very first win of our hook route, taking that coveted win. Of course, is going to need at least 2 wins to get into either of our playoff races in order to inch closer to that table.
And it sounds like Y2Sky has joined us in the booth. Y2Sky, GG's, and congrats on your first win and the first official win in the hook route.
Yeah, wow. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm kind of having
Yes.
some audio weirdness here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it's a little bit of a roller coaster of a seed, especially because I was kind of aware of a few kind of just little mistakes I made throughout the routing. But then, you know, I was kind of happy to see that the Twin Harp gamble kind of paid off. At that point, it was either Twin Harp or Ordeals, and my thought was, okay, if Ordeals has the Go Mode item, Bacon might be way ahead of me anyway because somebody would potentially take that Cecil. So I think I just had to stick with the gut calls, and it worked out.
No, very, very well played, and it certainly was a roller coaster seed. As you went along, what were you thinking as you know, as you ducked out of the underground from that first dive and started to do some of those additional overworld checks?
Well, I was definitely not in a position where I wanted to grind, and I didn't. I wasn't a fan of the FA March fights, so yeah, I think the best play in my mind was just to go back to those overworld routes and get some experience. The Zot turned out to be a little bit of a rabbit hole, but yeah, I think going through Baron and then opening up that throne room boss was solid.
Now, I need to know, you got rid of your Cecil. What was your thought after you got Crystal Sword, after Crystal Sword, after other good Cecil weapons?
Yeah, a little bit of cringe, but not. I wasn't worried about it because I would have been mad if there was a second Cecil that I would have then had to ditch. But with 2 edges, I wasn't going to be like, okay, it'd have been real flashy to be able to sling crystal swords, but I'm always happy with 2 edges, so I'm gonna take 2 edges and run with it.
As your check started to dwindle and there was still no access to the moon, did you know, where did you think your opponent was as you were getting close to having to take on that Odin?
It's like I mentioned before. At some point, I thought, okay, if these are all rabbit holes, Ordeals would have had the Go Mode item, and just clearing the overworld would have done it. So yeah, like I said, at that point, I was going to leave Ordeals for the last overworld check. Honestly, I wanted to reset out of that, but I forgot to save at the base of Ordeals. So when it gave me an edge sword, I was like, okay, fine, I'm just going to walk this back down.
We definitely can't fault you for that. So, all right, you have the first coveted win of the hook route, which is the much harder of the 2 to get into the tables. 1 more win, and you are guaranteed at least 1 play-in match. Does that change your preparation for your 2 matches moving forward? Do you follow the same course? A little bit of weight off your shoulders? What are your thoughts right now?
Winning the first round here is definitely a weight off the shoulders. 0-1 is not where you want to be when you need 2 wins. So as far as preparation, I think it's just continue running practice seeds and working on the little things. I'm pretty happy overall with my routing logic. Like I said, that could have turned out a little bit differently had I maybe went for the Calbrinas early, but in the end it worked out because I think it was the easier path overall than going to the moon. So like I said, I'm I don't think I'm going to change much about just overall routing strategy. Just trying to work on the little stuff during practice, like saving and resetting in the right spots. A little bit better preparation on the equipment stuff as far as bosses. There were several instances where I either wanted Rose's archer gear off and healer gear on, or vice versa, and that ended up being a pain. So just little stuff to work on.
But one major difference between you and your opponent is you did continue to do the early checks after you picked up that hook. Bacon Pie completely faded Fabul until after he was done with his hook route. Knowing you had one way to the underground, how relieved were you when you found that magma key?
That was really exciting. My thought was, oh, this might be a jet seed, because waterfall boss is a given once you have two edges. But yeah, the Fabul check is not even really for the check, more so than the experience. But at the point where I've got two Palums and a Rosa, I really need that caster support for the edges to really go up against some of the ruder hook bosses. So yeah, that was just for experience for the most part, and then I just got lucky and there was the magma key.
And I would say that was the correct routing, because as I said probably several times, when I'm stuck with a hook route, I'm going to want and as many checks as possible before taking on those upper Babel bosses.
Agreed. So, Y2Sky, any closing thoughts on the seed or moving forward?
I think I pretty much covered what I already said. Had to do it over again. I probably focused a little too much on the Dwarf Castle Warp. Spent a fair amount of time leveling Palom up to Warp, when, especially with Calbrina at that Leviathan slot, I may have been okay with just that quick first Quake pop and then checking that, but and then I would have gotten experience for Warp. But it's hard to ignore the 2-for-1s.
Okay, perfect. Well, GG's again. Congratulations on your first win.
And we look forward to seeing you challenge your next opponent, whoever they may be.
Yep. Looking forward to it. Super excited. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
As we were during that interview, we got to see some of the spoiler log, and it turns out our fun Odin spot or the Odin fight had the spoon, and our package, which was our last key item, was in the ribbon room on the moon. So technically, moon wasn't entirely haunted.
No, not entirely, but we didn't have to visit there today.
Nope, and it looks like Bacon Pie is heading into his own Z fight, so chat, feel free to shoot up those Z flags one more time as Bacon Pie tackles the dreaded teddy bear itself.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate here that and it's unfortunate that Bacon Pie didn't find the magma key and had to go through the harder route, but for having to struggle through that harder route, played very well, got through a very fast wyvern, and really made up a lot of time once he was finally underground. So tough loss for him here, but he definitely played the seed very well.
Yeah, agreed. The difference between a magma and a hook route, and it's only just maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes difference, as long as everything goes according to plan with this fight. I'm impressed with Bacon Pie right now. That's a kudos to them on this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, finding wyvern there, it would have probably ruined me for a couple days. So chat asking, so we're gonna one more time. So the magma key was at the Fabul defense. The hook was at the antlion nest, I believe.
I believe so. It was somewhere very early. Yep. Nick confirmed it was antlion.
Yeah. So of course, our runners checked the antlion nest first. Bacon Pie deciding to fade Fabul after he got that hook, and Y2Sky running and completing those early overworld checks and finding that magma key, which gave him an early advantage.
So yeah, if all goes according to plan, it looks like this will be a very, very quick fight. We've got two edges. We've got that Crystal Sword Cecil. Cecil, I believe, is already berserk, so we're going heavy on the physical damage here with a little bit of magic to boot it up. But
Yeah, and Cecil doing 5,000 damage right off the.
Cecil is tired of this seed and doesn't like teddy bears.
What we've been saying, what I've been vanilla agility kind of makes group flags very different than the tournament, but a crystal sword does kind of negate that. So even though Zeromus is going faster, doing 5,000 damage is gonna speed up the fight overall, because the more damage you do to Zeromus, the faster he moves into his different phases.
Agreed, and it looks like it's going to be a clearance sale from our two ninjas, just darting anything and everything they can out of their inventory. Why not at this point? I don't know what was exactly darted, but I saw that 8K coming out of that bottom edge with a dart.
That dart was from the gal, the X-Gal we just forged. So 8,000 damage from that dart. That's gonna, of course, make this fight a lot quicker. The magic of the Final Fantasy IV ATB system, it does slow down when you queue action. So 3 Zerkers and a bunch of magic being queued in the background. It's basically delaying the ATB system, which is going to enable Zeromus to get fewer and fewer actions as our party members continue to get those strikes in.
And that's another thing that I learned through the process of learning free enterprise, kind of like knowing which bosses can't gate the hook route. When I think of berserking, I'm thinking, okay, they're not adding turns to the ATB, when in fact they're kind of doing it behind the scenes.
Yep, that's right. So even though you don't see it and you're not giving them, because they're still queuing up those actions, and every time a sprite is moving, the ATB is not ticking, and that's just giving the player more and more.
It's like we see Palom trying to get across a spell, but it's berserk game too strong. There we go. Good job, Palom.
This we definitely we should see rocks any second now. Zeromus on his knees, not even able to get a big bang in.
Ooh, not even able to get rocks in.
Nope. No, we don't even see rocks as Monokumas is shaking his way down into the vault. And that's GG's to Bacon Pie within 1 hour, 15 minutes.
And as we see those GG's popping in chat, I do believe Bacon Pie has joined us. Bacon Pie, GG's on the awesome, very quick Z fight. How do you think you did?
Okay, listen.
Yes, you were going to preempt a question that probably Gundam are going to be asking at some point.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. Going into the race, I started fading Fabul because I didn't want to double or triple dip it, which I did in a couple of my practice seeds. Then when I got the hook, I thought, okay, I'm going to do everything I possibly can except the hook route, because I want to find this magma key so I don't have to go hook route. And then I forgot Fabul existed.
Oh no! Oh no!
And to make it even worse, before the race started, I knew that if there was like a Wyvern or a Val or a couple other bosses down at the hook route, that meant the magma key is elsewhere, right? That's just the fact that everybody with a brain who plays this game knows. And I also knew that until the race started, when I forgot that. I remembered again, after the race was over.
That is one of those things that I brought up as you were getting those star veils and getting prepared to fight Wyvern a second time. That you can study and you can get all the knowledge you want. If you're actually in the race, your brain is not always going to recall that knowledge at the important moment.
The star veils was another great part because I went and left and loaded an older save even, so I had to redo some things, and I went and got the star veils, and I went back, and then I realized that the Wyvern kind of always goes first there because it's like a cutscene fight. Thankfully, the magic is really low, or maybe not thankfully. If it was higher, I might have remembered Fabul, but anyway.
I will say that Wyvern fight, especially when Edge survived, I was on the edge of my seat, and I was like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, I was I was real clenched during that moment.
It was very exciting to watch. It definitely was. So can you take us to inside your head when you saw that the magma key was freely available at the Fabul defense?
So I lost. That's it. The only thing in my brain was, oh, okay, I lost. Let me just finish the rest of this as fast as possible to get this over with, because I definitely lost. Sky definitely went here and got it at some point. Maybe he also went hook and saw Wyvern and decided to go to Fabul like a smart person. I don't know what he did. I'll have to watch the VOD, but I knew as soon as I saw that magma key, it was over.
So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you watch back, because as you were turning in the pan, I believe that Sky was only one key item ahead of you.
It was impressively close, considering Sky went the magma key route and you went the hook routes. Yes, it's a loss in your column, but that was really impressive. So you should be pretty proud of that.
I mean, I hope it was entertaining for everybody out there, especially, getting past that Wyvern for no reason by the skin of my teeth.
Well, yeah, that's true. Another question I wanted to ask really quickly is, you were doing a lot of item checks or a lot of treasure checks. Can you walk us through kind of why you were just looting everything?
Because I am a loot goblin. That's what I see treasure, I must get all the treasure. I'm still fairly new to this whole thing, and I know, speedrunning, you want to cut that off at some point, but the gamer in me is like still get all the things, get all of them, get everything. Look at that chest over there. Go get that. I know you don't need it. Go get it anyway.
That is a mood that I'm very acquainted with, so I can't fault that logic. So you are 0-1. You do need at least 2 wins in the hook route to get into a play-in. What are your thoughts? What are your preparations moving forward?
Yeah, same as always. Run a bunch of practice seeds, do terrible, feel real bad about myself, go to the race, make some terrible mistake, lose, and end up 0-6 for the whole tourney. That's the plan. So far, so good.
I mean, there is a niceness in the consistency there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
No,
I was never in this to win it. I was just in it to, play this. I like playing this game, and this was, a fun way to do it. With when a 1v1 situation is a unique experience, and I'm having fun with it so far. I don't really care about winning or losing. I know I'm never gonna. What, you think I'm gonna beat Inven or something? There's no point in me even getting to like the table.
I don't know if you did the seed of the week this past week. I'm in the same boat as you, but I might have gotten a slightly faster time than him.
As chat's saying that right now, anyone can beat Inven. That's kind of the magic of Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. I've beaten Inven, and it was very lucky. It was only one time, but that is the nature of Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise.
And there's a lot of people in chat now saying that they've also beaten Inven. It is doable.
Yeah, with with perfect routing and all the favorable RNG in the world, then maybe I can beat him by like 5 seconds.
And a little bit of metagaming. Just just check package.
Maybe like he takes a nap in the middle.
And fade and don't fade Fabul. As I found out.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Never again. Boy, Fabul. Favorite castle. Such a great castle. I'm gonna visit that castle more often from now on.
You are buying real estate in Fabul now.
Oh, absolutely. I live there. Absolutely. I'm moving in next to Sheila.
No, Bacon. I think you did. I think you did extremely well under the circumstances. I think you probably played the seat as much as exactly as I would have if I had to do that hook route, trying to do all those overworld checks as quickly as possible. Any final thoughts on that seed and or anything that you think went exceptionally good or bad?
I mean, my mistake aside, it was a fairly fun seed, you know. I hope you like defense swords and strength rings because those were in huge abundance in this seed.
At least 2 crystal swords as well.
Yeah, and a couple of crystal rings. There was a lot of good loot. Not too many big edge swords. I forgot before once I got the crystal, I was planning on going back to, I think Baron had ninja swords, and I was gonna buy one more because I think one of my edges still had like a middle sword or something, but I just forgot, and it didn't really matter anyway because I had so many levels and pretty good equipment besides that. But yeah, it was a fun seed, and I had a fun time. I'm beating myself up in this interview and all that, but really it was still, it's fun. It's all in good fun.
And it was an absolute treat to watch you for sure. I mean, sub 2 hour with the hook route, that is crazy to me. Like I'd probably be still in that hook route maybe 3 hours from now. So that was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, with 2 edges, anything is possible. So.
Well, a final good game to you, Bacon Pie. Good luck to you on the rest of your tournament.
Thank you.
Asuka, it's been a pleasure tonight. We watched a great match. There's plenty of more free enterprise coming up as the Hook and Magma routes continue. I know tomorrow, right now at 11 a.m. RPG Limit Break, we have Commander Leonhardt versus Vampstar 87. So that's Eastern time, and we will be adding more and more matches to the schedule as our players have time to schedule them out and get them set up.
Agreed, and it's already looking like the 26th, so Wednesday is going to be jam-packed with matches, so keep an eye out for streams on potentially Free Enterprise, Random A, RPG Limit Break. Wherever you go, there's going to be a fantastic match. Again, another shout out to our behind the scenes team with Night Dew and Niabari doing all the heavy lifting behind the scenes, and an additional shout out to you, Gundam Pilot Spaz, for fantastically fun time on comms. I had a blast.
As did I.
And a question from Niabari: can we make Randomania the Ocho on Wednesday? I mean, that's a bold strategy, Neo. We'll see how it pays out for you.
All right, so we'll be heading over to Bahama X, who is currently practicing for a charity marathon that's going to be happening this weekend. So everyone, jump on over there and cheer him on, and he'll be this weekend. He'll be doing some good work for a good cause.
In that case, this is Gundam and Asuka signing up for the night. Everyone have a good day and enjoy some more Free Enterprise. Take care.